listening to the Art of Homeschooling podcast, where we help parents cultivate creativity and connection at home. I'm your host, Jean Miller, and here on this podcast, you'll find stories and inspiration to bring you the confidence you need to make homeschooling work for your family. Let's begin. Well, hey there, my friend, and welcome to episode 41 of the podcast. Today, I want to share a story with you that shows really how Waldorf-Inspired homeschoolers just always find a way for things to work out, right? Always find a way to advocate for their kids and get what they need to sustain this homeschooling journey. And this is the story of the Taproot Teacher Training. So here we go. 14 years ago, a small but spirited group of parents gathered in central Ohio at Barbara Dewey's Taproot Farm for the first ever Taproot Teacher Training for homeschoolers. At the end of that long weekend in early August, those parents returned home with a feeling of confidence that they could bring Waldorf-inspired lessons to their children at home. They'd spent that summer weekend on a farm among rolling hills in central Ohio, a weekend filled with morning hikes and feeding chickens and so much laughter, lots and lots of laughter. They'd met comrades on a similar journey and had an opportunity to experience homeschooling as a student themselves. Little did we know that first summer that Taproot would become an annual event, reaching hundreds of holistic homeschoolers from all over the world every summer. Today, in this episode, I want to share how Taproot has touched so many and really become a special event and helped to forge a Waldorf homeschooling movement, has really contributed to this. So whether you're a Taproot alum or you hope to come to Taproot this year or at some point in the future, or you just want to hear a sweet story of encouragement and community and determination, really, then listen up, because this story will help you know that we are never alone on this parenting and homeschooling journey. And I invite you to come be a part of the movement. So here we go. This is the story of how Waldorf homeschoolers always find their way in the story of the Taproot Teacher Training. So the idea of a training weekend for homeschooling parents developed out of a need expressed by many parents who attended grades trainings at various anthroposophical teacher training institutes all over the U.S. Trainings aimed at classroom teachers didn't really meet the needs of homeschooling parents for a whole lot of reasons. The homeschooling parents often didn't get their particular questions answered. Parents at home have a much smaller class size, right? 2 to 3 or 5 or 8 students, children of various ages versus 25 to 30 some children, all the same age in a classroom. So the two settings, right? Teaching in a classroom and teaching at home are very, very different. The parent as teacher is a very different role also than that of the teacher in a classroom. Many of the activities and learning experiences that sometimes can feel contrived in a classroom can be done quite naturally at home and just woven into our day. These at-home, natural, and what I would say less formal learning experiences are really at the heart of good homeschooling. I also think that there is a subtle but very profound difference between classroom teaching and homeschooling that we often tend to overlook. I've taught in both settings, and there is just a world of difference between the classroom and home. In a classroom, the teacher is really planning lessons with the goal of bringing as many of the children along as possible, aiming for the majority, but not always able to meet the need of every single child, the needs of every single child. And in a homeschool setting, the teacher parent has the luxury of looking at each child, the individual child, and meeting them right where they are. Each child can be considered in a homeschool setting and lessons planned for the individual person. I honestly think that the homeschool setting gives us a much better chance than a classroom of fulfilling Rudolf Steiner's directive he told his very first teachers in the training for that first Waldorf school. He said, look at the children before you and bring them what they need. And wow, in a homeschool setting, we have the opportunity to really do this. So the first Waldorf homeschooling conferences were organized by Rahima Baldwin. She's the author of the wonderful book, You Are Your Child's First Teacher. Highly recommend that book. And they were held at the Waldorf School in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Those sadly came to an end in the 1990s. I attended all of those, and they were really that was the first time that there was acknowledgement of people using the Waldorf approach at home. It wasn't full embracing that, but there was acknowledgement. Then in 2001, Jean Campbell, an educator in Canada, started a Waldorf homeschool training that ran for a number of years in Toronto, known as Chiron, where parents could camp out in the Toronto Waldorf School kindergarten room overnight. And I will tell you, it was a magical experience, sleeping on their napping mats on the floor among the play stands and silks and beautiful toys in that kindergarten room. Barbara Dewey, the founder of Taproot, she was on staff of these trainings, having worked with Jean Campbell on several other programs at Sunbridge Institute in Spring Valley, New York. And about that time, on Barbara's family farm here in Ohio, 2 family homes really became available for weekend use in addition to her own home. And so in 2007, Barbara began the Taproot Teacher Training for Waldorf homeschoolers on her farm. She invited Jean to come down, Jean Campbell, to come and work with her on that training. And she and Jean traded. So Barbara would go to Canada and help with the training there. And then Jean would come to Ohio and help with the training here. And that was just for the first year or two, perhaps 2, I think. And then Barbara also hosted on her family farm some seasonal festivals where she would invite families, homeschooling families, to come and stay for the weekend. Attendees were limited to 20 participants because that was the capacity, right, for a 3-day training. And parents stayed in the farmhouses and barn or camped out on the property. Meals and overnight stays were included in the tuition. And during those years, Barbara, one of her grandchildren, Robin, helped to manage the kitchen and feed everyone throughout the weekend. One year, my own teenage daughter came and assisted, helped Robin out with that. It was really fun. And each participant then each of the parents who came would pitch in for KP duty during the weekend, helping to prepare, clean up, serve these simple family style meals. And also John Quimby, Barbara's husband, who is a forest entomologist and retired from as director of forest health for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, he joined in to teach some wonderful nature study and woodworking skills workshops. When I asked Barbara to reflect back on Taproot through the years, here is what she said. She said, I started this program so that homeschoolers could get a Waldorf teacher training that met their unique needs. Participants over the years have made it that and so much more. Meeting these dedicated parents has given me hope for the future of our children. I just love that. So there's some amazing funny little mishaps that have occurred through the years, especially in the early years on the farm. Most memorable was when Barbara's dog Star got into a tussle with a skunk and then snuck into each of the 3 houses, I think trying to get away from her horrible smell. And that became the fragrance of the year. That whole weekend, that was our memory. We all smelled like a skunk. Lots more funny stories about the outdoor shower, about the chickens. I mean, it was really a wonderful experience, those early years. And now Taproot has really grown, right? So through the years, Taproot kept growing and growing. And it has, since then, more presenters have also joined. The second year of the Taproot Teacher Training, I joined the team of presenters. And then came Allison Manzer, another former teacher and experienced homeschooling mom. Allison and I have taught many workshops together, combining our loves of history and literature, including this year when we'll once again be bringing the Book Hearth, where we show you how to create a lesson block for multiple ages around one book. It's one of our favorite things to do. So Allison and I both have 3 children who are now grown, and we really met on Barbara's farm, which is super fun. So through the years, other Taproot attendees have become presenters, including Rebecca Christie, Amber Sharapov, both moms of larger families who now bring workshops in math, science, handwork, and the arts. So many of the presenters now were initially Taproot attendees, which is super special for everyone. All right, here are just a few more reflections from the presenters. Allison says, words that come to mind when I think of Taproot are courage, connection, commitment. Taproot has both cultivated these qualities within me and called them forth from me to share with others. So sweet. Rebecca reflects, I love the space Taproot creates to let go, become grounded, and then fill back up again with ideas, inspiration, and confidence for the year ahead. Oh my gosh, I've just seen that happen over and over again. All the years in person, and now Taproot is online, and we still have been able to keep the depth of this, the experience, the depth, and the beauty of this training in that setting. Parents, when we were in person, parents came to Taproot from as far away as California, Oregon, Washington State, Puerto Rico, British Columbia, Canada, really all over. And most often it's moms who attend, but sometimes couples come, a few times just dad. We also get teachers from small schools who have mixed age groups of kids, and parents from homeschooling co-ops who have found the Taproot teacher training to be helpful. Participants have described Taproot as being very practical and hands-on. providing an abundance of creative wisdom and connections with so many wonderful people on the holistic homeschooling path. It's an enriching weekend experience, really, for both attendees and presenters. It's one of my favorite weekends of the year because it's so heartwarming and uplifting to meet these caring parents from all over. And just as Barbara said, it really gives me hope for the future of our children. All right, here is what past attendee, now presenter, Amber says about Taproot. She says, "What I love most about Taproot is the sense of connection and community. To feel such support in this homeschooling journey and to make lifelong friends in the space of a weekend or several weekends if you come back year after year has been such a gift to me. I was so nervous to come the first year that I signed up, feeling as though I wouldn't fit in. But several years later, I know I could not have been more mistaken. There is a place for everyone at Taproot." So the story of Taproot carries on, right? After the training of 2014, Barbara and I decided that this was time to find a larger venue where the program could really grow and where food and housing could be provided. So after much searching, Taproot moved from Barbara's farm to the Cuyahoga Valley Environmental Education Center, which is a beautiful campus set in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. And 1 year there, oh my gosh, the center made the mistake of double booking their kitchen staff, right? And so we benefited from that because we got their catering chef to cook for us for the whole weekend. Oh my gosh, that was really, really fun. It really is a joy to have someone else cook for you, right? When you're the homeschooling mom, who usually provides all the meals for everyone day after day, week after week, year after year. All right. So then in 2017, Taproot moved again to the Shaw Retreat Center at Camp Asbury in Hudson, Ohio. And this is a beautiful summer camp setting. Participants shared bunks with newfound friends. We have hikes in the woods, walks to the dining hall, all while immersing ourselves in the lively arts and homeschooling lessons. And then 2020 arrived. And so in the midst of the pandemic, the Taproot Teacher Training went online. And this is where we'll be again this year for Taproot 2021. This decision was made because we really wanted to keep families safe while staying committed to bringing this amazing training every summer. So we can regroup, right? We can be flexible, just like we have to be in our homeschools. So, of course, this has changed the flavor somewhat of the event. And yet, so many participants last year talked about how much the sense of community still shone through. And across the miles, through the ether, people could really feel that sense of community. And the amazing bonus to an online event is that homeschoolers from all over the world can participate, hundreds of homeschoolers. We had actually over 200 homeschoolers at Taproot 2020. And there's still the deep roots of all of the presenters who have been doing this for many, many years. I think that really does shine through no matter where we are, even over Zoom. So, and even online, we start our live weekend with the tradition of a puppet show presented by Barbara. We have a theme to help us, to really ground us in our inner growth as parents and homeschoolers. This year, for Taproot 2021, our theme is Standing Like a Tree. We'll have amazing workshops presented throughout the live weekend, which is August 5th through 8th, 2021. Workshops are brought to you by 12 different wonderful, caring, committed leaders, all with experience homeschooling and or working with homeschoolers who can help you build your own curriculum, right? Build your own curriculum and customize your homeschool to meet your children right where they are. And so the tradition continues. Taproot has a remarkably supportive atmosphere. And here are just a few of the phrases that participants use to describe, right? To describe the vibe at Taproot. Warmth and community, emphasis on the lively arts and beauty, embracing flexibility in homeschooling with Waldorf, finding like-minded friends, teachers who are kind, encouraging, open, and very knowledgeable, and a general energy of positive joy. The workshops at Taproot are really hands-on with lots of opportunities for doing along with, right? Even on Zoom, we have those opportunities and opportunities for seeing what homeschooled children have created. We want to bring you a training that's enlightening and fulfilling so that this holistic homeschooling can be practical, attainable, and sustainable for you. So if you want to join us this year for Taproot 2021, you can find all the details at artofhomeschooling.com/Taproot 2021. Taproot is really, truly a magical experience, no matter where it takes place. The foundation of commitment to helping you, the dear, sweet homeschooler out there, that commitment to helping you find ways to make homeschooling work for you and your family has been there from the very beginning of this Taproot training, and it continues. It carries through to this day. And oh my gosh, reviewing this story just warms my heart so much because I think that it's such a great example of how homeschoolers are so dedicated, committed, and determined to make this work, right, for our families. Attending Taproot can really help carry you through your homeschooling year. I've witnessed over and over again how the acceptance, the friendships, and the hands-on experiences within a supportive, loving community can give parents the confidence and strength that they need to continue learning and growing and bringing holistic homeschooling to their children. I hope you'll consider joining us for Taproot 2021 online and letting this amazing experience become part of your support network. The story of Taproot continues on. That's all for today, my friend. But here's what I want you to remember. Rather than perfection, let's focus on connection. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Art of Homeschooling podcast.